Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. I am still Mrs. Angry. I just did a video on Nicola on the update. I'm doing a video with an update on Marelle Sturrock. First thing I want to do is show you, I can work out how to do it. Someone who will be there when you die. Oh. Okay, so that very, very, gosh, that's a very haunting video there of Marelle Sturrock. And Marelle is the school teacher who last month was found dead in her home. She was 7.5 months pregnant, and it's been disclosed now that the baby she was carrying was a boy. And gosh, I've gone from angry to tearful now. The baby she was carrying was a boy, and he was going to be called Jayden. No, he is called Jayden. The person she was singing with in that video so beautifully, both of them, and him playing the guitar, was her partner, David Yates, and he is the person that killed her. And he then went off and drowned himself in a reservoir not far from their home. So this took place, Marelle lived in Jura Street in Glasgow, and it's now coming out how she was killed. She was bludgeoned to death by a claw hammer, and she was left to bleed. Her and the baby were left to bleed to death. It's thought that the night before it happened on the Monday morning, it's thought that the night before it happened, he dropped off the family dog at a friend's home, which, you know, obviously has led to claims that maybe he premeditated it. All this is coming out now already in the inquest. This just goes to show that the inquest, Nicola Bulley's inquest, is different. I mean, this incident happened long after Nicola Bulley's body was found, and it's all, you know, it's going on, there's details coming out. So the very fact that Nicola's inquest is so silenced and hushed, there's got to be a reason for that. Anyway, this story is about Marelle. Marelle was a teacher at Sandwood Primary School in Glasgow. Now, they reported her missing on Monday morning because she didn't turn up for work. They couldn't get hold of her or anybody else, well, or him. But the police did not attend the scene until the Tuesday at 8:40. So Marelle was there just all day and night. You know, we don't know exactly when he killed her, whether it was the night before, whether it was the morning, but she was not found until the next morning at 8:40 when the police broke the door down. Oh, sorry. I don't know if this morning I'm going through all emotions. I'm sad and angry, but I'm angry, but I'm sad because when a 7.5 month pregnant woman is reported missing, why does it take over 24 hours before the police go round? Anyway, the reason I wanted to do an update on this case is the apparently they doted on each other. I mean, you can see, I know that what people put on social media and things and videos that people allow into the public domain don't always tell the story of what's going on. But it seems generally everybody says they doted on each other. Even her family is refusing to, say anything bad about him. He was described as gentle and kind. But he had suffered with mental health issues. I don't know who I'm crying for. If I'm crying for Marelle or crying for him or both of them and the baby, and crying a little bit for myself because it just reminds me how lucky you can be to escape a stalking situation, or someone, if you're involved with someone who has mental health issues like my ex-partner did, you just don't know what they might do, and they do what people would not expect of them. So anyway, apparently he had mental health, he had struggled with mental health issues since his father Robin, who was a gynecologist, an obstetrician, a very distinguished one, had died last May. And apparently ever since then, I mean, I'm sure it didn't just start then, maybe he had issues before that, but he'd really struggled since then. But everybody seems to agree that he was dedicated to Marelle, and they feel it must have been some psychotic episode. The thing is, we're looking for answers in these cases. In this case, in the same one with Emma Patterson and her husband who killed her and their little girl. I have to accept that there are mental issues at play. Then he then took his own life, which is what David did as well. So we have no answers from them. It's especially difficult because for the, this is how I feel. As I always said, this is how I feel. Imagine how the family feels. No answers from him because he's taken himself off to a place where nobody can talk to him and ask what on earth brought this on, and the family will never know the exact circumstances, unless possibly he left a note. I don't know if nothing's been mentioned about a note yet or anything. Possibly he did. Because families want answers. Answers is what they need. It doesn't bring the person back, but I think it, knowing something instead of it just always going to be this big mystery, knowing something maybe about his state of mind at the time, I know probably would help in some way. So Marelle and David, they met through a theatre production company. He was part of a rock band, which he gave up. He was part of a heavy metal band called Nocturne Wolf. And he left that band because he said, the statement he said was, I wanted a puppy more than I wanted to be in a rock band. Because I'm going to cry again. Sorry, you probably switched off from this video by now because it's just me wailing. But and he also said, I wanted a family more than a rock band. So why? When it seems like all this was coming together, they had a dog, they had a little boy on the way that was due in a very short time. And why did he do this? Why did he do this? And in such a brutal way. I mean, you know, to batter her to death with a claw hammer. Apparently, the police are, that you know, attended the scene. You know, they're having to go through counselling, which doesn't surprise me at all. Anyway, he was part of the Glasgow Light Opera the year before. He took the lead role. In 2019. He took a lead role in the production of All Shook Up, which is an Elvis Presley musical. And you know, the Glasgow Light Opera, that they, you know, everybody's refusing to say anything bad about him, you know. So this was not a guy. This doesn't feel like it was a case. Sometimes when things happen, things come out, don't they? That well, yes, you know, we've done this or they've done that, and this doesn't seem to be that case. It really does seem to have come out of nowhere. I felt when I was watching that song where they were singing that sometimes she was looking at him like a bit concerned about him. But you know, if his father had died, and maybe she was worrying about his mental health, but you know, I'm just sort of casting around for thinking, why am I making this video? Because obviously it's quite distressing. It's distressing me. I hope it's not distressing you too much. And the thing is, I made this video because there's got to be a way. What is the answer? You know, is it if he had mental health issues, are the mental health services letting people down? What can we do to stop these sort of cases happening? You know, as I've said before, like I think before, you know, I had my own experience. I don't think I would have. Don't notice things so much, do you, when they don't sort of resonate with you? Like if you've never been stalked or you've never felt under threat of your life from a partner, you wouldn't really register it. But once you have been, you can't switch off from it, you know. And I think I do need to switch off from it. I might be having a little break after this couple of videos, because it's like I want to explore it because I don't want it to happen anymore, and I want to think, how can we stop it from happening? But sometimes I wonder, is it possible? And is there any way? This lady, poor Marelle, she doesn't seem like she had any warning signs. Maybe some will come out later. So what do you do? What do you do? And what can the mental health services do? You know, had he, you know, been to a psycho, had he admitted that he was having feelings of, it's obviously he was having, well, it seems like he was perhaps having some counselling if he'd had issues with his mental health, since something must have happened. So was he offered any help? Did he admit that he was feeling like, you know, taking his own life, deleting himself? Why didn't he delete himself and not do that to Marelle and the baby? What made him think that that was the right thing to do? You know, there's all these issues, aren't they, floating about we need an answer to. Why didn't the police go around immediately when a 7.5-month pregnant woman doesn't turn up for work and nobody can contact? Why didn't they? I mean, I have to say, you know, years ago when my ex-partner, when I was worried about what had happened to him, which turned out to be true, what had happened to him, that he had hurt himself, I have to say the police did go round immediately, and he wasn't, well, he was vulnerable in the sense, you know, I was telling them that he'd had these thoughts of deleting himself. But, you know, as far as they were concerned, he was a 49-year-old man, you know, capable of taking himself off somewhere for a day if he felt like it. Or Or was it? Do you know what I honestly think it is? Is that because that was a different time then. We had the mental health services, we had police, we had now there's no resources. Your safety, I tell you, if you live in Britain, your safety is not valued. And as a woman, it's especially not valued. There's CCTV cameras everywhere. So afterwards, yes, they can find perpetrators of crimes, but there's nobody there for you to talk to come out and look for you when you're a missing person. You know, there's nobody. The resources have been drained so much that these types of cases that to me are avoidable. It's an avoidable case. There was no reason for that to happen. That these sort of cases, they're going to happen over and over again, more and more and more. That's my opinion. And I don't live in the UK now, and I'm not, you know, the UK is not the country that it was, I'm afraid, when I left there. But there's a lot of good things about the UK, but what's not good are the resources. There's no resources in mental health. I know from family experience, if one of your family members, if you or one of your family members needs help with mental health, there's nowhere to go, or the waiting lists are so long. Something like this would happen before, you know, anybody was sorted out and looked after. Now, I'm not saying Spain. I live in Spain. It's not a perfect country, but I'll tell you one thing we do have. We have a lot of police. Sometimes you might think there's too many police, but you know, you need the police. The police are important to make people feel safe. You have to feel that you can walk down the street at night. I mean, any of you ladies out there, you tell me, who of you would go out at 8 o'clock in the evening in the winter, when, you know, walk to your local shop, or walk through a park, or you know, go take your dog for a walk in a lonely place? You wouldn't do it. You should be able to do it. Why shouldn't you be able to do it? Why are women like prisoners? And then even in their own homes, like Marelle, you're not safe. You know, this is not a good morning for me. I'm so sorry. I'm really angry about all these cases. I'm angry about the Nicola bully, the police deciding that there's no case to answer for giving out her personal information before she'd even been found. So before they even knew that she was actually had left this world, unfortunately, before they even knew that, they were broadcasting her personal information. I think it's disgusting. And then this, I think it's disgusting. Maybe the police couldn't have saved her if they would have turned up there on the Monday. Apparently it's come out and it was unlikely they could have. But that doesn't mean they couldn't. What if she'd been lying there bleeding to death, and if the police would have actually turned up when they were phoned on the Monday, instead of leaving it a whole 24 hours before they went, you know, to visit this vulnerable woman who was 7.5 months pregnant, gone missing, can't get hold of her partner. They waited 24 hours before they went round. So I've got to say that with my ex-partner, the police were there that morning, within an hour of me ringing to say I was worried about him because I couldn't get hold of him on the telephone. They were round there at the house. They went and visited his place of work. There was a little delay before they found him, just because he was not in the house. He was in the garage. A little delay, but they kept going back until they did find him. They found him within an hour, within a couple of hours. So why did it take 24 hours to go to the house of a 7.5-month pregnant woman who's not turned up for work, totally out of character, whose partner has disappeared and they can't get hold of? Why? So they'll probably have an inquiry there and decide there's no case to answer. Okay, so sorry. I hope you always live and love carefully. And until I see you again in the next video, maybe there'll be some good news in another bit. I'm going to do some positive videos because for my mental health and yours, I think I need to. So prayers going out to Marelle and her family, but also his family, because they must be distraught too. They've lost him, friends, all their friends. It's awful. It's an awful situation, isn't it? So our prayers go out to them, and until I see you again, may your God go with you. Bye.